Hi, Betsy. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Unica. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time. Really excited to interview you and just to hear more about your role and your experience at the college. So I think just without further ado, I would love for you to share a little bit more about yourself and your role in the college.
All right, so I am Betsy Art Guide, and I started at Bellevue College as a adjunct instructor in the economics department, and that's still where my academic role is. And I also, about maybe 6 years ago, started as an instructional designer through e-learning part-time. And that morphed into a full-time position right around the time that the pandemic started.
Great. Thanks so much for sharing. And yeah, I've heard a lot about you from Christina, and that's kind of what led us to this point here. And just
Sure,
curious to hear about what brought you to the first year seminar program.
absolutely. So Christina sought me out when she first thought about starting the FYS program, and wanted someone who had a background with creating online materials and putting a course together through the online, in an online way. And I said yes, because I think it's really important for students to know about all of the resources on campus and to feel like they are welcomed in, and they're not just a student that just comes onto campus and does their stuff, but I hope that they feel like they belong, and we're happy that they're here. So we're trying to do that with the FYS program.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm so glad to hear that this is started, just and your assistance and your support too. And from you mentioned that you're an instructional designer at the college. So from your perspective, what does accessibility look like and what should students expect?
Yeah, so for me, accessibility may mean something a little bit different. So I'm coming at it from a place of the laws that are in place about accessible content for individuals with disabilities. There are federal laws around that. And what accessibility means for me is that images have alt text descriptions, that videos are captioned and those captions are edited, that pages in Canvas have what's called a proper heading structure. Then there are a lot of other laws or rules around accessibility that Canvas already has built in. So for me, it is truly like running accessibility reports and trying to fix things for students so that those who rely on a screen reader or have other disabilities are able to access the content in the same way. For a student, when you say accessibility, that means something else, all right? It could mean that the navigation is clear, that instructions are clear. It could mean that links, all of the links work. So that is also part of what I go through when I'm trying to produce a course or create a course, is making sure that as many of those things that could stumble or create barriers for students, so many of those things are fixed ahead of time.
Yeah, and I heard that you worked part-time at the e-learning center and now you are working full-time. Could you tell us a little bit more about your role in that area and what it offers?
For sure. So e-learning, the way it's structured at Bellevue College, is mostly for faculty, but not exclusively for faculty. So there are, since this is, I'm speaking to students right now in this video, it's important for you to know that if you do a search for Bellevue College e-learning, you'll be taken to a page that is actually student focused. And there are a number of resources on that page for you, including things like, how to make sure that you can get into your Zoom meetings, understanding if your faculty member uses HonorLock or the lockdown browser for exams, what that means and what that might look like. So there's a lot of resources there for students. There's also, at the beginning of every quarter, some live trainings that our staff at eLearning will put on for students that really walks them through Canvas and how best to use Canvas and be successful at that. as well as I think there may be like 3-day courses. So they're facilitated by an instructor, but it's for people who have not really used Canvas before to come in and learn how to be successful with Canvas. So we do have some student-facing resources available. Most of e-learning, though, is working with faculty and trying to get them to understand what students might need in their classes. And so there's a lot of training and workshops and the like that we do with our faculty.
That's great. I feel like Bellevue College is constantly being very innovative in regards to supporting students. Like I recently heard about the early alert system, and I think that kind of
Right.
ties in with the e-learning too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I love the early alert, by the way. I think it's a great thing.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, again, I just recently heard about it, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic. This is great
Mm-hmm.
that they're focusing on these students who are in need of, reaching
Right.
towards their academic goals.
Absolutely. And again, going back to why I said I was interested in the FYS program, it is, we really, as a faculty member, I know it can, I should say, as a student looking at a faculty member, it can be a little bit scary. You think that this faculty member is, I don't know what you think, that we're stern or that we're gatekeepers or whatever, but so many of the faculty here are truly devoted to your success, to student success. And that early alert, just going back to that, is another way that we try to catch students early on and say, hey, we notice, you're missing class. We notice something's up. How can we help you?
Right. And I feel that that's what FYS is that's what
Mm-hmm.
makes it special because all these instructors, and I looked at their profiles too, and the bios that they sent me, they're really student-centered oriented. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and other than that, I think you may have mentioned this earlier too, but I was curious to hear a little bit more about how you think FYS might benefit students and other factors.
For sure. So I have a daughter who's college age right now, and she'll just share with me stories of friends or people. She's not here, she's back east. She's going to college back east. But she'll share with me stories of things that are going on with students. And I'll say to her, well, have they reached out to so and so office, or have they done this, or have they tried this? And I firmly believe that there are so many supportive resources for students on campus. And sometimes it's hard for students to reach out to those places, but when they do, it can make such a huge difference. It can really mean the difference between them passing a class or not passing a class, or between them completing a degree and not completing a degree. So to me, the FYS, what I feel students can benefit from the FYS would be at least two things. Number one, hopefully they're creating a relationship with a faculty member that they feel comfortable with, and that they can go back to that faculty member even when the course is done, if they want, someone who's mentoring them. And number two, they're learning about these resources that are college-wide that are just waiting for students to utilize them, right? They're set up for your success. And sometimes students either don't know that they're there, or maybe they're just afraid to use them, or they think it's for other people, it's not for me. And I hope through the FYS program that students learn that it's to everyone's benefit, to their own benefit. If they just start tapping into these things, they're there for them. Those resources are there.
Right, that's true. I think that's what's great about FYS is there's just so much support from the faculty and this engagement and this holistic learning. And also that relationship building is so important too, the mentorship piece. Once
Yeah,
you're done with that class, you don't just have to end that relationship. You can continue it. It's like a long lasting build up that can
absolutely.
continue further, even after graduation. I just feel that I graduated from Bellevue College. I'm still in touch with Christina, and look where I'm at
Right.
right now too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you're a great example of that, I think.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks so much for your time, Betsy. I think this is pretty
Sure.
much all that we have to share. But I feel like if there's anything else, is there anything else you want the viewers or students to know more about you? Any resources or tips?
About me, not necessarily. I would just say that, if you have ideas for e-learning, that you think we should be covering, you could always just send an email to elearning@bellevuecollege.edu and just say, I'm a student and I have this idea. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. And for sure, I'll also add your contact in the description so that if any students have any questions, they can contact you, and also the e-learning as well.
That'd be
Thank
great.
you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah, thanks so much. All right,
All
bye.
right, bye.